Hi, this is Rob Simone here on Resonance FM. You are invited to come along for the ride. The UK's only full-time alternative information program. Join us for this weekly journey of discovery here on Resonance FM 104.4.
Hi, this is film producer and director Paul Davids.
Hi, this is Janine Garofalo.
Hello, this is David Icke.
Hi, this is Uri Geller.
The UK's only full-time alternative information program. We bring to you the most interesting people on the planet. Uncensored, unrehearsed, you never know what you're going to hear. Come and find out for yourself what all the buzz is about. The Headroom program with me, Rob Simone, right here on Resonance FM 104.4 on your FM dial.
As well as being one of the world's leading paranormal experts and ufologists, he's well known for commenting on world issues and politics. I'm intrigued. Rob Simone, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Super seats. My goodness. Roses, too? This is just too much. Well, nobody could have really expected the standing ovation, but I'm greatly appreciative of you joining me once again here on the Rob Simone Talk Show, here on Resonance FM 104.4 on your Resonance FM dial here in the great city of London, England. Of course, I am broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California, and we are worldwide on the internet every single day, every single hour, every single minute at www.robsimone.com. That's ROBSIMONE. There you can find news, information, links, resources, and a ton of stuff that is linked all throughout the best of the web. And it's there for your enjoyment. In fact, I was just on the site earlier today, and there's a link there to, it's called, what's it called? Most Wanted Shop. It's right on the links and podcast page, and it takes you to a website that shows you the most watched items on eBay. You know, the highest of the highest, and you get stuff there like a lunch with Warren Buffett, playing golf with Tiger Woods, and wild stuff up there. Haunted things, crazy stuff, people buying crazy haunted homes. It's a cool little website. It's called, I think it's called Most Wanted Shop. But it's all up there at robsimone.com, along with news, podcasts of this show, free podcasts, and streaming TV and all kinds of stuff. Welcome to another show. I've got a real doozy for you today. This one is going to take you into a story that will defile you, that will defy imagination, and that will challenge the very fabric upon which your soul is based. And it's a jolly good laugh too. No, but what we're going to do here today, people, is we're going to explore one. I'm going to bring on a tortured soul on these airwaves. He is a tortured soul. He is a man that is racked with a hammering, unaware, unknowing, yet unfulfilled part of his life that has cast into question everything that he holds near and dear. And this happened to him while he was serving in the United States military, believe it or not, at a place called Fort Benning in Georgia. And this not only involved him and shattered his paradigm and irrevocably changed his life, but it happened to his whole company at the same time. He and his whole company were involved in this extraordinary, life-changing event that today we're unclear if it involves a larger paradigm. And he's written a book about it, and for the first time he's coming on and disclosing this astonishing incident. And it is truly a mind-blowing story. You have to wait and hear and see this thing, because as he was telling me about it, I just said, okay, wait, just stop right there, because I don't want to hear any more. Because I want to save this when my beloved Residence FM audience can hear it with me. And he said, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, no, I'm on the radio. And he said, oh, okay, that's different. So I'm going to bring him on in just a couple months, but just to let you know what's going on. What is going on? Well, I actually am just finishing up my first documentary that I shot and narrated and produced. It's called, what's it called? Actually, I'm not going to give the title away yet because we haven't locked in what we need to lock in with the title. But it's about some islands in the South Pacific and the mysterious things that go on there. And I was stunned to look back at this thing. I shot it last year and the year before to find the incredible stuff. I mean, I got elders and we've got, amazing stuff. So it has to do with the paranormal and the supernatural. It's not really UFO related, although I guess that, there's an open door there at one point, but it's not a UFO documentary. It is more, and the surprising part is, and I'm just so stunned that I found so many people to support this astonishing hypothesis, and I don't want to give it away, but it turns out that history and the Bible and Judaism and Christianity, what lies at the heart and the core of these religions, in this documentary that I've made, it challenges that and adds a new and almost unbelievable, and it's not me saying this, unbelievable new theory and suggestion about how things happened and where things are right now. And I'm being cryptic, but you got to give me a couple more weeks and I'll really lay it out. And I'm just stunned because, okay, one person said these types of things, and I can't get into it right now, although I think we have talked about it on the show. And then I found another person, and another person, and then I found a lady who's pure Hawaiian, and she's considered, a great elder and the ceremonial practitioner. And her father and her fathers were the same thing, and they talked about this stuff, and she reveals, again, these same types of truths that it's just astonishing. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Anyway, I found it, I discovered it, and so I'm just going to lay it out there. Give me a couple weeks. We're tightening it up, we're finishing it up, we're putting the soundtrack on, and I'll let you know more about that. But anyway, that's all I probably should say at the moment. But I'm just, again, I just brought the camera with me, because everywhere I go, I meet people who tell me wild and crazy stuff. I meet people who tell me this incredible paranormal stuff. So I figured, let me just bring a camera. So this was all done, with my own camera, which is a really nice camera. But it's me and a friend just shooting this thing. And we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing with a camera. We're not pros at it, but we work in a professional level. So, and I have to say, for just touting this thing along, I had this thing in my backpack. I walked over a mile of lava, and we were shooting the lava flows, and just a camera and a tripod, really. And what we grabbed with this thing, I am just absolutely stunned looking back on it right now, everything we got in there. But okay, more on that later. Also, just quickly, there is I get a lot of emails. I just get hundreds of emails every week from people asking about the different shows, where they can hear podcasts and all this stuff. And once again, I'm happy to remind you that if you go to robsimone.com, click on links and podcasts, it'll take you halfway down the page, and we're going to overhaul the website again at some stage, but it's there. It's called TV Stripe, and you'll see a nice, beautiful picture of a girl with headphones, and it looks like she's listening to some sexy music. You click on that, it'll take you to a website called TV Stripe. There, on the first page, and that website's massive. It's got 9,000 pages of free streaming TV, thousands of free podcasts, but mine are up there too, right up from the first page. So TVStripe.com is one of those sites that is sort of deceptive. It's like YouTube. You look at the front, it's very plain, but behind it is this sort of massive amount of free information. And so what TV Stripe does is it brings you all these cool, wild sports, movie, all kinds of television channels you can watch for free. Just click on it and it streams live. They've got videos. They've got music videos. They've got, as I say, podcasts and news, too. They've got a massive news section that is updated. All this stuff is updated like every 10 minutes. So you can pick on any category of news and go directly there, and it gives you the story. It's very well laid out, very well designed. And that's where our podcasts are for those who are interested. And let's see, last but not least, I still get a lot of questions about eWorld, this new business that's starting up. A friend of mine actually just emailed me. She bought 200,000 shares of eWorld. And because it's available right now at a very low cost. And but eWorld is launching now. They are just cranking up this massive edifice. And what they have is like this incredible, beautiful media player. When you watch YouTube, you know, it's kind of grainy. What eWorld is a way in which people who have content, first of all, can start their own business, or people who don't have content can start their own business by bringing in, by spreading it out, by giving away this free toolbar, the Boomerang toolbar, which is a free download. It's just an application. It's not even really software. It's it's a tiny little file, but that gets you into eWorld, where there's already free TV and streaming and videos. But eWorld is going to be this thing where it's going to be like the HBO. If you've got content and it's worthy of sharing, if you've got content at all, you can bring it up there and drive traffic to it and get royalties from it. But if it's accepted over the larger network of eWorld, then you've opened up the door to a larger revenue stream, and you've got yourself a great little showcase, because this is HD sound, an HD player. And what eWorld does is gives you 50% of all the royalties that they get from it. So it's like, okay, it's a good deal. So it's kind of it's a multi-pronged. And I know the people who are behind it. There's a lot of guys in the business here in Los Angeles, and they've just got all kinds. They've got rap and hip hop and music and independent films, and I mean, you name it. They are just one launch after another. So it is it's a kind of a new kind of concept for some people, and I know it's a little bit involved. But if you go to the website, if you go to robsimone.com, it's on the first page. Take a look. If you have any questions, email me. I'll try and help you out. But I'm just getting so much that... You know what I'll do? Okay, here's what I'll do. I'm going to bring on the vice president of eWorld, and I'm going to get him to just talk for a couple minutes, because I'm involved now. If you want to see my exclusive trailer of the TV show that I shot last year, that's the only way to see it. It's on eWorld, and as I say, it's a free download, and that puts you to access eWorld for free forever. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's starting to really catch on. Okay. Yeah. In fact, after this interview, I'm going to get LaSalle on. I just got the okay on that. So we'll get him on after this interview, and we'll go into that. Well, right now, let me play you this little clip of an intro of our next guest, John. He was interviewed on a news television show that went into some of this, and then we'll bring him on live. Interesting stuff. Take a listen.
Anxiety, depression, anger, sometimes fear. I thought I was the only one who was remembering this.
John Vasquez has symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder.
He reports that a UFO descended upon a formation of about 1,200 military trainees.
September 1977.
Every time when I speak about this, it's just like a picture flashing in front of me.
Vasquez says he and hundreds of troops were engaged in combat with aliens.
We got fired at with something unusual. Bright, intense light, streaking across at us, hitting some other people.
These aliens were here for a reason, an abduction.
The slab was levitating.
aliens placed John on a slab-like table for examination.
And then I glance to my left and I see rows of men on slabs.
How can so many people be involved in you're the only one that remembers?
Well, I may not be the only one that remembers.
Ex-Army Private John Vasquez is still traumatized because of what happened to him and hundreds of soldiers at Fort Benning, Georgia.
The wound would look like a red mark where yellow spotches.
Vasquez is describing the injuries he and his unit sustained from a battle between Army troops and aliens. It's a story he's been telling since 1977.
And I thought I was hallucinating all this.
As the publisher and as a co-author, I spent about 6 months transcribing these tapes.
After 10 years of exhaustive research and publishing a story, this is what John Vasquez found out. A surprise visit by the Army Secretary to Fort Benning that September.
When we asked about it, everyone said it didn't happen, and then we would check files and find out that it had happened.
Soldiers coming down with a mysterious case of measles.
We are supposing that those people in the battle were sent off to the hospital.
At that same time, reports of downed choppers were passed off as mechanical failure.
Now, usually there's no reason for a chopper to just fall out of the sky on the base. Again, this happened the same evening.
How can 1,300 people have their mind erased? This is an army. This is an institution, a large institution. If they want to cut something off, they're going to cut it off. One way or another. They can do it. Believe me.
Vasquez says he's talked to Army buddies who remember that UFO encounter, but will not talk. He hopes that because of his book and research, others will come forward and get professional help for their stress and denial.
Well, that is the story that we heard, and now I'd like to bring on John. Welcome to the program, John.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, your book is called Incident at Fort Benning, and we just heard a news clip that sort of described what happened as an overview, and I mean, this is something that is amazing because of the possible scope of this event. Now, can you update us a little bit? I mean, how has it been since you did that news interview? Have you remembered more of this incident?
Some are new, yes. I have to mention that some of the things that's been coming along from years to years and years and trying to figure out that what I'm saying is correct because, we had to somehow, I had to somehow, when I was talking about these events, I had to find evidence that would connect the story. And little by little, when I talked to a lot of people and also the people that wanted to hear this story, I would look into these events and I also found documents and reports on that. And one event that I still remember is the down choppers.
The what now?
The down choppers, Huey choppers.
Oh, the down choppers, right.
Yeah, one was on fire and the other one just, was lost. And there was 2 choppers that went down. And I remember one chopper that was on fire. And, sure enough, when I, during these inquiries and writing to all the departments, I did find records of these choppers, and it was at Fort Workers, Alabama. I spoke to Mrs. Vicki Hendricks. At that time, she told me these documents were classified. Well, I did ask her if I could just write to FOIA and request these documents to be
through the Freedom of Information request. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And sure enough, took a while. Normally, it takes like 6 to 8 months before you hear anything.
Sure.
Sure enough, when they released the information to me, I noticed that that there was a connection to these because I remember that this chopper, which is on fire, landed behind Charlie Company's building, and sure enough, the documents said the C Company.
Yeah, they had a record of that. Well, let's get in the Wayback Machine here. Bring us back to 1975. Who were you, and what were you doing back then?
In 1975, I was just starting at Southwestern Junior College.
Okay.
And I stayed there for about a year, I think it was.
Did you come from a large family?
No, a small family.
Were you born? Where were you born?
I was born in. This is going to sound kind of wild, but I was born in Yokohama, Japan. My dad was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
He's a Native American. His family lived in Weaver, New Mexico, which is in Gallup County.
Oh, yeah.
Our tribe is Zuni tribe.
Oh, you're Zuni. Okay.
Yeah. And my dad was in the Navy, and I was born in Japan. But we came over in '63.
Okay. How about your mother? Was she Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's Oriental.
Right.
So there's a little mixture here.
Yeah. And then you grow up, I guess, as a normal childhood, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Did you live like in some city, like in Albuquerque, or?
No, never went to Albuquerque yet.
Where'd you used to live, growing up?
Here, National City, all my life.
National City, where's that?
It's in San Diego.
Oh, you're in San Diego, okay.
Yeah.
And what did your dad do?
He was in the Navy, and
Okay.
when he retired from the Navy, he was a machinist.
Okay. So it sounds like it's kind of a typical life, nothing out of the ordinary there?
No.
Okay.
Simple life, you know.
All right.
School.
Did you ever do sweat lodges? How close were you to your own culture?
I'm sorry. What?
Did you ever do sweat lodges or anything? Like how close?
No.
No?
I mean, we were away from our tribe, so we never gone to any kind of tribal meeting or anything.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
Well, what was it that possessed you to join the military service when you were at that age?
Well, I guess I just wanted to get away from school for a while.
Oh yeah.
That was like from right after high school. I went straight to junior college, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like I want to get away for a while.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. And so you joined the Army.
I joined the National Guard unit first.
National Guard. You took a page out of the out of George Bush's diary. You joined the National Guard, and then what happened after that?
Well, after the National Guard, I asked the major if I could join RA, which is regular Army.
Okay.
And he said, it's no problem. Just finished the training at Fort Irwin,
Okay.
Which is in Barstow, California.
Right.
For the, what do you call it, red flag exercise.
Oh.
So I finished that in the desert. And after that was done, the major said, go ahead and join the regular Army.
I'll be darned.
So he pretty much gave me a pass to go ahead and join the regular Army.
And you were just mostly on the base during all this time leading up to this event, or?
Oh, no, I wasn't living on the base. I was here at home.
Okay. So then what happened to bring you back? Was this part of your routine training?
Yeah, it was one of those exercises that I had to go through when I was in the National Guard unit.
Okay.
Came back home, and I went back to my first sergeant, and the first sergeant told me I had to go to L.A., Los Angeles, to sign some contracts, which I did.
Okay.
In an AFI station.
Oh.
And they told me that I could be leaving within 2 days.
Wow.
After the signature.
Okay.
And which I did. And I came home and told my parents that I was leaving. And I was going to, I think it was Fort Benning, Georgia.
Yep. So you get. So how long? Yeah.
Went to Fort Benning, and that's when all this unusual event took place.
Right.
And
how long were you there until this thing happened?
Well, I was there for two months early.
Okay, 2 months, and then what happened? Did anything happen leading up to this event? Was this place known to house any psychological warfare departments or any advanced military equipment for mind control or anything out of the ordinary?
Well, Fort Benning has training facilities that go through like advanced infantry, which is a lot more than basic training. Advanced infantry means that you're going to be involved with a lot more like combat. bayonets, something like this, in this order. As for other exercises, well, at that time they had this one exercise in September was called JAWS. It was an acronym for Joint Attack Weapon System. And it was evaluating, or the Secretary of the Army was there, Clifford Alexander. He was evaluating the A-10 airplane test.
The A-10 what?
A-10, tank busters.
Yeah, the Warthog.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't using depleted uranium back then in those things.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Probably
they
not.
They were exercising that airplane at that time.
Yeah.
Same time.
What kind of rounds do the cannons on those things shoot? 50, 100 caliber? I don't even know.
Gatling gun.
Yeah,
I don't know how many rounds it.
But they're really heavy, powerful machine guns on their thing.
Oh yeah, right on the A-10 airplane had a Gatling gun, right on the nose area.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would destroy a tank.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Wow.
Shoot it to pieces.
Incredible. So they were testing that there anyway.
Yes,
Yeah.
that I found out.
Okay.
As for the Inspector General office at Fort Benning, when I requested this information and several other things that I requested about UFOs and this measles outbreak at the same time that was happening with our company or our whole battalion, the response that I received from them was that this was not true. So, you know, I'm telling myself, how can I be when I found photographs of this A-10 at the airport?
Huh, how about that?
It was parked right there, and it's in my book also.
Yeah.
The photograph of this A-10.
Extraordinary. So, bring us up to the events leading into this extraordinary event.
Well, when I came to early in the morning, this is about, 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, I had a driver in a Jeep take me to Delta Company 1st Battalion, 1st Infantry, which is a training course on, I think it was Sam Hill. Yeah, I think it was on Sam Hill. I may be wrong about that, but I think it was on Sam Hill. And I had my orders to be there, and it was a normal day. Go to breakfast, get in line, have breakfast, make sure you get to your barracks, get your linens, get acquainted with everybody who's there first day. And it was a normal routine procedure for all of us.
Okay.
Everybody's running around.
All right.
Of course, you got the drill instructors screaming and yelling at you too.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the practices they.
Yeah, people. Yeah, guys calling you maggots and stuff like that.
Oh,
that's good stuff.
That is really not what you hear in the movies.
Oh.
The real stuff is like you better get yourself moving fast, you know.
Yeah.
From point A to point B.
Slightly more colorful language, perhaps.
Oh, beautiful languages, nice language.
Yeah.
And they mean it too.
Yeah, they ask you where you're from.
Oh yeah.
They say, where are you from? You say New Mexico, and then he says, well, there's only two things that come from New Mexico: steers and queers.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah.
Wherever it was. Yeah. That was from a movie.
Yeah,
well, okay.
Yeah.
So where
I heard that one.
So what happens then? Did they give you orders to deploy somewhere?
Well, you know, actually, the whole day was, trying to get ourselves situated.
Yeah.
And then there's about 1,200-1,300 men there running around all over the place, and it was real busy all day. Supper came up, and it was about 5:30 or 6, I think, and we were told by one of our drill instructors, Sergeant Santini, that about 7:30 we were going to have a mandatory formation, parade formation, so all of us have to be out there, no excuses. About that time when that 7:30 came around, came back to our barracks and told us to start walking out the barracks and start getting in line. So we did that, and we're still talking, everybody's still talking, and, getting ourselves acquainted. We were standing in line, and, it was, 40 minutes we were in line, and it got real dark, and it was about 8:10.
Yeah.
One of the people up front of me, a tall man,
yeah.
I don't know what his name was, but a tall guy,
yeah.
And he said something like, look at that, what's that? Well, I didn't pay no attention to what he was saying because I didn't know what he was talking about. But then within a few minutes, He said it again. He says, what is that? So my curiosity got the best of me, so I had to look and see what he was talking about. So I looked at whatever he was looking at, and I just said, well, I don't know what this is. But then I said something like, what is it that what is it you're saying? And he pointed to the right side of the sky, and I looked up, and I said, all I see is the stars. That's it, He said, watch, just watch. So I watched the star, and all of a sudden, the star moved.
Good heavens.
And the way it moved, it was like, picture this.
Okay.
You get a small cube of ice in your hand, and on the floor, it's like a steel floor.
Yeah.
And you put that ice on that floor, and you push that ice across the steel floor. It moves real smooth, like.
Yeah.
Gradually. Like. Well, that's what this star was doing, just going across the sky real smooth, like it was part of the sky, and it stopped.
It stopped.
It stopped.
That could be a little off-putting.
Well,
what happened?
But it stopped. I said, well, now what? And this light just took off away from us for a few seconds, and then came back and stopped, and then moved again.
That's some high strangeness there.
Well, a lot of the people that were standing next to me, and another one was a Joe Sergeant Newkirk. He's Mr. Universe. I mean, this guy was bulky, big guy, big guy.
Yeah, like to eat.
And he was a drill sergeant, and he was asking me, hey, Vasquez, what do you think that was? And I go, I don't know. Back in '77, all I could think of was a satellite.
That's a good answer. But unfortunately, satellites don't move under their own control and come to a freezing stop. But a reasonable answer.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then again, when it was moving across the sky again, it stopped again.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
And then moved away from us and came back.
Okay.
And then by this time, one of another different drill sergeant, or maybe it was Sergeant Santini, told all of us to stand at attention because our captain was just walking out from the captain's building onto this podium, and when someone tells everybody to stand at attention, you're not supposed to move.
Oh, I can imagine.
You got to look straight ahead. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's it.
So when I did that, I stood there, and I remember the captain had started mentioning about our training course and how long it's going to take, 6 to 8 weeks, and on and on and on. And by this time, I hear this rushing noise that was coming from my left. Now, I couldn't move, but I know that I leaned backward just a little bit and looked to my left, and I was staring at this bright, intense light coming down the dirt road, and I noticed that some of the Charlie Company men was breaking out, running from formation, out of formation, breaking out, and the others were all still standing still. And I said, what? I didn't know what this was. I thought it was a chopper or something coming down the road. So I leaned forward just a bit to get a better look at this. By then, this light was about halfway, or mid level, tree line. Yeah.
It was about as high as a tree line.
It was descending. Nothing was happening. And this bright light was getting brighter and brighter, and then I thought it was a truck or something coming down the road. And I was about to say something to this guy who was talking to me just a few minutes, or at least 5 minutes ago. And I looked up at him, and he's asleep.
Asleep?
Yeah. He was looking downwards to the ground, and I'm looking up, and I'm looking at his face, and he's asleep.
So you're telling me that this thing is started coming in, it's coming in so low and so close to the tree lines that some guys are sleeping and other guys are running away, breaking ranks?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I saw this guy standing in front of me, and I looked up at his face, and he was asleep, I leaned backwards, and I don't know what happened, but I guess I became unconscious for a few seconds. And when I looked and came to be aware of what was happening around me, I noticed I was looking down at my boots, and I couldn't move.
You were paralyzed in a sense.
Paralyzed. I couldn't move. I don't know why, but I just couldn't move. And what I'd done next was that I turned my upper body to my right, and I looked to my right, and I noticed my buddy was standing right next to my right, was already running away from me.
Wow.
And I'm calling him out to come back and help me because I couldn't move.
You literally couldn't move your legs.
I couldn't. I
Wow.
had him come over back to me.
This is extraordinary. You've got people running away. Some guys are out of it, and some guys are paralyzed.
Right.
I mean, this is an amazing, amazing, a situation we got here unfolding. But hold it right there. We're going to take a quick break to let people know where they are. And we come back, we'll pick it up right there. Stand by for one moment.
Okay.
This, of course, is what we like to do here, people, every single week. Actually, for about 5 years now. You're listening to the Rob Simone Talk Show here on Resonance FM, 104.4 on your FM dial, and worldwide, of course, on the Internet. And I have to say that Resonance FM now is poised to achieve national notoriety for their state-of-the-art programming, for their avant-garde sensibilities, for their ingenious program makers. There is nothing else on the planet quite like this radio station, I have to say, because I'm very picky, you see. And I wouldn't be on this radio station if it really wasn't the best radio station in London. So do what you can to throw your support behind this radio station, because what makes it so great is it's kind of powered by the people, as it were. And ipso facto, you know I could speak Latin, it gives a voice to the people. Like me, I have given you show after show after show about alternate health, alternate realities, alternate consciousness, about Tony Blair and what he gets up to, about the geopolitical structure of the world, the true reasons behind this Gulf War, what's really going on as far as the secret societies, about police monitoring. I've given you the background on the 7/7 bombings. Now, take it or don't take it, but at least it's a voice. It's an independent voice that's not controlled by any corporate media. That's the beauty part about Resonance FM. And it is. I just hope you guys. We tend to take for granted what's in our backyard, but Resonance FM really is a treasure. So do what you can. Go to resonancefm.com for me, and just whatever you can do. Just be there, support them, sign up on their email list, attend their events, whatever you can. It really has led to incredible stuff, not only in my lives, but I get hundreds of emails every week from people whose lives have been affected and enhanced by the information I'm getting out here. We're making connections, we're turning people on to different things. It really is a phenomenon. If you want to get involved with that, please do so. If you have questions or comments for me, if you've got something that you'd like me to dwell on, I do it all the time. In fact, I love being told what to do by you guys. No, really, you guys got great ideas, and I just like, great, and I just go with it. I mean, this guy, I just get an email from somebody, and that's it. That's enough for me. So to get in touch with me, it's pretty simple. The website is www.robsimone.com. That's ROBSIMONE.com. And the email address is robsimonetalks@yahoo. Get in touch and feed back. Also, if you're interested in feeding back, there is a brand new section on the website that's called Submitted News and Articles. It's 115 articles, all submitted by listeners, about whatever you want to talk about. A lot of it has to do with feedback from our past shows and expounds upon them, but we've got stuff from science and health and astrology and gadgets, and I mean, everything's up there. So take a look at that and feel free if you want to be published. Okay, let's get back to our guest. Okay, we are back with my guest, John. You were just telling me about this incredible UFO, or light at this point. We still don't know what it is. You're paralyzed. You're turning to your friend, and he's taking off, leaving you, to meet your maker. And what happens then?
Well, yeah, I think because that's our reaction is when we see something or do something that's unusual, or I think the human side of our feelings take over, and ours is like we've been going through training so many times that our reaction would be to take cover, all of us, and that's what happened when this whatever it was that came showed up, that we took action, and our action was to take cover. And my buddy, I yelled at my buddy to come back and help me, which he did. And I noticed that some of the men were still standing around, and the others were running to the tree lines, and others were diving underneath this crawl space. The building had a 2 feet high crawl space, and some of them were taking underneath cover underneath that. And when my buddy came back to grab my arm, he grabbed my left arm and he pulled me so hard I sort of hopped off where I was standing, and we started to run.
Okay.
And we're both screaming at each other, yelling at each other.
Good heavens.
Where's the captain? Where's the captain? And we had to go see where the captain was, so we both went to where the captain was, and we noticed that he was still behind the podium, and he was asleep.
Standing up?
Standing up behind the podium. He was asleep.
Man, I wish I could sleep like that.
So what I did was I yelled real loud for him to wake up, and he didn't. He was still asleep.
Did you call him a maggot? 'Cause sometimes that'll wake him up.
All I did was yell real loud for him to wake up. He didn't wake up.
So he was out of it. Well, what'd you do next?
He was out of it, and about this time when I was yelling at him to wake up, the captain, my buddy, when I looked at his face, he had a look on his face like he's seen horror.
So like a naked ghost kind of look on his face.
A terror in his face. His eyes were wide open, his mouth was open, and he looked pale.
Wow.
Whatever it was behind me,
Oh.
I don't know, but I think it was that light. I'm assuming it was this light that was coming down on us.
Okay.
So I grabbed his collar
Yeah.
and his shoulder, and I shook him real hard. Shook him really hard, and he started coming to and saying something like, "What's going on?" Like he didn't know what was going on at all. And I told him, "Just run, take cover, take cover." So we started running, both of us.
You started to do the 100-yard dash, and
Well, I'll tell you, we ran as fast as we could away from whatever this thing was.
right. And
we-
describe the scene around you. Was there chaos? Were people half asleep? What was it like? Was it like a Stanley Kubrick
It's
film?
like happening was so fast. You see some of the guys still standing around, and they're motionless. I mean, they weren't moving at all.
Wow.
And others were. I could still see others still running to the trees. Others were diving underneath this crawl space that we have, and the building has crawl space about 2 feet high.
Yeah.
And we started to run.
That's America's best, hiding like rats in a crawl space.
Oh, my God.
That's America's finest. Well, so let me ask you, though, how did your buddy, when he did come back for you, how did he shake you out of this paralysis? Did he just sort of grab you?
He grabbed my left arm, and he pulled me from where I was standing.
Then that seemed to do the trick?
Well, it made me hop.
You were hopping.
Just once. Hop.
Okay.
I just hopped once, like I was unleashed.
Okay.
And we started to run.
Okay, so now there's these guys that are holding on the crawl space. You're running. What happens next?
Well, we started to run, and we came to a second building, and some other things happened at the first building, but that's a long story on that. But we heard our names at the second building, and at the far end of the building, we heard some guys underneath the crawl space, and they were calling our names to come over. So we went running over there to see what was going on over there. And then when we got to the crawl space, we started arguing at each other, cursing at each other, and starting almost a fight with each other about what was going on.
Wow.
Right now.
You said, in other words, you started to do the blame game.
Oh yeah, pointing fingers on who started this or what's going on and who's in charge and all these things, and we're cursing at each other, out loud, and we're trying to figure out what was going on, and we came to a conclusion that it's the Russian invasion.
Ah, the great boogeyman, the Russians.
Oh yeah, all these guys are nuts. They started something for sure.
Those damn commies, I'm sure you referred to them at one point.
And during this argument, all of a sudden we hear screaming.
Uh-huh.
It came from far, far left screaming. To hear it coming down from Alpha Company, Bravo, from Bravo to Charlie, and right to Delta Company, to hear the guys we left behind screaming.
Wow.
I mean, to hear the guys, this one guy screamed so loud, you could hear him call out his mommy. And it was like a high-pitched scream.
That's never good.
Yeah, that was not good at all. And when I heard that, I told one of the guys who was underneath the building with us, me and my buddy, that we need to go out there and do something. And he just turned to me and said, it's too late. They're already dead.
Well, it sounds like that dude was a bit of a pessimist. Well, so you're sitting underneath there. You're hearing this blood-curdling scream.
Yeah.
And what did you do next?
Well, again, then by now, we're really, really serious about what we're going to do next. Our actions was to gather M16s.
See, you weren't armed at this point, so you had...
we're not. We're not armed, but we knew where the M16s were, and we were going to go arm ourselves.
That's spoken like a true American. Go get some guns and then shoot first and ask questions later.
Well,
so did you manage to raid the M16 cabinet?
Well, again, what happened next is a more unusual thing happening, is that when we started arguing and finding out where the ammo shack was, in which we found out where it was and where the ammos are, by this time, we have the first building we just passed. It's a two-story building, and it has large windows on them.
Okay.
It's a military building. It's built in 1940s and 50s. It's like, gosh, how can I put this? It's like buildings that you see when it comes to like the Navy base here, 32nd Street Naval Station, right on Point Loma. They have these old buildings up, wooden buildings, and they have large windows.
Okay.
And there's a second level on the other side of this building that we're watching. All of a sudden, this bright, huge light just started cruising. And this light was so bright, it silhouetted the frames of the building and the seams, too. You could see the light coming through the seams.
So the light was coming from the inside?
No, it was from the other side of the building.
Okay, so it was lighting, it was so bright, it was kind of like lighting the cracks of the building.
Right, exactly. And then it was cruising real slow, like it was searching for something. And it was coming across the building, and I don't know, one of my buddies was telling me, what do you think that is? And I go, I don't know, whatever it is coming toward us. So he asked, what do you want to do then, John? I said, well, we're underneath the building, and I think the safest place would be the center of the building. It's because it's much more darker. So all of us started crying like little kids and being frightened of the dark or the light, whatever it was coming around this building. And it sat right in the grassy knoll. And the whole bottom was illuminating. I mean, you could see the beams, you could see the pipes, you could see the ground, ourselves. It was so bright. It was illuminating the whole thing, the darkness. And when that happened, I could all of a sudden started hearing a voice. And I know that sounds wild, but I heard this female voice, and it sounded like an echo, a metallic-like echo.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Come out.
Wow.
It said that twice to me. And I asked the guy, did you hear anything at all? Did you hear a female voice or something? And I'm asking these guys underneath the building, did you hear anything at all? And they're all kind of shaking their heads like, no, what's wrong with Vasquez? Something's happening to him. Kind of look. And I hear it again. It's okay. Don't be afraid. Come out. And I'm hearing this in my head. And I thought that was really unusual because, all the other guys were not hearing this. Only I was. So I told the guys, listen, I'm hearing this again, and I told them this. Let me go out there and see what this thing is. Find out what's going on. And they all kind of looked at each other like, yeah, go ahead. Vasquez, you go out there and take a look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of look. Like they were. I mean, they were. I could see them right now, and their faces were like really frightened of what's going on right now. So I started to crawl out, and this bright light is so bright that when I started crawling, I had to keep my bearings straight because my hands would disappear in the light. And I'm crawling on the dirt right now, and my hands would disappear every time when I started moving forward this light.
That's some bright light.
It's really bright. The brightness is so bright. I mean, my hand is disappearing.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's this? It's just really odd. And, when I was about to move away from the building underneath. I think one of the other guys who was right behind me told me that he wants to go with me. I said, no, you stay behind. Let me go out there and find out what's going on. Because I wanted to know why am I the one who's, listening to this voice. So when I started moving out of the building, I came to the sidewalk. I noticed the sidewalk and up to this grassy mall. I stood up and turned to my left, and I see this bright, shiny light right in front of me, just sitting there. And I look down to the left side below, and I see this, I don't know what it was, but it's something real small, and it just scurried right back into the light, and it just disappeared. Something real small just scurried right back into the light. So I want to take a better look at this little thing that I just saw, and I lifted my left hand, shield the bright light with my left hand to see or at least get a better look at this, and I feel this, I don't know, it sounded like a fuse being blown, electric fuse being blown, and it hit me right on the left side of my shoulder, and I felt sick all over, and I went down, and I noticed that one of my other friends are screaming my last name out, reaching for me, and I reached for him.
Okay.
And something else hit my back, upper left back, and I was out.
You went to, that's sort of, yeah. And this creature, can you describe this scurrying creature?
It's dark. I mean, it was dark, but you know what? The light, most of the light took, like it was a deformed shape because the light was so bright. But it was a small little thing. I don't know. How can you put it? It wasn't that tall. It was small, but it scurried right back into the light real quick.
Incredible. But it seemed to come from the light or be involved with it or a part of it.
I never seen anything like that. I mean, that small.
Yeah. So then you black out. Then what do you remember next?
And through hypnosis from Bud Hopkins.
Well, hold on. But hold on. So you black out, but then what do you remember next? Either the next day, or is that it? Or
yeah.
Okay.
When I came to, all of us, each and every one of us in formation, right?
In formation outside?
We were right back in the same formation, but then when we came back, I know that my buddy and I were on the second line. This time we were back on a fourth line.
Well, was this the same night?
Same night. Had to be.
But it must have been a whole lot later. Did you notice it was colder?
Well, when we were told to go back to our barracks, I mean, one thing I mentioned is that we never had a speech from the captain. He never made that speech. They told us to start walking back to our barracks, and we started doing that. A lot of us lost balance. We fell right over.
Huh.
Yeah. The ground came up on us.
Wow.
We almost, like me, I was just walking back to my barracks, and all of a sudden I fall down.
Okay.
My balance.
So you guys sort of just all stumbled back. Did you talk to each other? Did anybody...
Got sick. Also,
people
got real sick.
Okay.
We went back into our barracks, and the behavior of the guys in there was really weird. It was bizarre.
How so?
Bizarre. Well, some of the guys went to sleep with flashlights on, with the blankets over their head. Others were popping up in their bed, screaming that they just saw something on the wall.
Nice.
Another guy woke up, opened up his locker, and the latrine is right next to him. He urinated into his locker.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a lot of bizarre...
Traumatic sort of reactions, yeah.
I don't know what he calls it.
Yeah.
It's just not post, but, And I noticed that when we were coming back, I also looked at my watch, and my watch stopped at 7:30. The other guy's watch stopped at, I think it was 3:45. Another one, his watch stopped at 4:45.
Huh.
So, and it seems like we didn't speak that long either. It's just, just when I changed my clothes, to go to sleep, I just woke up right away. And
right.
Like,
So after that, did you guys talk about it? Were these effects lingering?
Well, that morning, I missed my breakfast, which I never did. It was the first time I missed breakfast, and I woke up about 10 o'clock. And I got dressed, went downstairs to the back where there's picnic benches, and all the guys were sitting around there, not saying a word. And we started talking, and I asked him, weren't you there over there that night, or weren't you doing this that night? You know, one of those kind of questions. And they couldn't remember. I couldn't remember either.
Extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, they took us out after a day or two. I think it was on a Monday. They took us out to a bivouac, which we call a campsite.
Yeah.
And more unusual things happened to us out there.
What, that night? The next night?
No, it was Saturday when we woke up, when we started trying to remember things, and then on Monday came around. They took us away from our post.
All right, let's hear about that when we come back. We're talking with John Velasquez, and we're talking about his book, Incident at Fort Benning. More right after this. Fascinating stuff here. You're listening to Resonance FM 104.4. This is the Rob Simone Talk Show, the talk show that boldly goes when no other talk show dares to go. And when we come back to this interview, you're going to hear what was revealed under regression by the world's leading UFO abductee regressor, Bud Hopkins, and others. It really kicks up a notch. But I just have to tell you that, of course, this is Resonance FM 104.4, and I have been delighted, absolutely delighted, about what I have discovered that has positively changed my life. And I just have to thank and give a quick shout-out. They're right on the homepage here, healthsenate.com. Thank you for getting in touch with me. They heard me on the radio. They sent me some of their products. They told me about detox, and I didn't know anything about it, but I have to say thank you, because it just made me feel like a new person. Healthsenate.com. Thank you very much. Quick shout-out to them. And next week, I hope to bring you another exciting interview with David Icke. He's back in town, and he is making trouble. So hopefully we'll wrangle him up and get him back on the show just as quick as possible. We haven't heard from him in a couple years. Right. Okay, we are back with John Vasquez, and we were just going to go into, I think, this second event that happened a couple days later. What happened there?
Well, they took us out to a campsite, which they marched us out, like it was about 8 miles away from our post. And when we got to this campsite, all of us started setting up our tent and putting our gears away. And that pretty much took the whole day, because there was, we were real busy trying to get all of our tents put together. And well, when nightfall came around, and it got real dark real fast, we started building campfires. Each and every one of us, a small campfire, to cook our meals, canned goods. What do you call them? Army meal. They come in a brown bag or brown box, 4 green cans, and you cook your own. We started cooking that, and I don't know, but Sergeant Santini, that ticked him off so bad. He was kicking the campfires and screaming at us, and he went off.
Huh.
He didn't like it. He didn't like what we were doing.
Wow.
I don't know what set him off, but I guess the campfire set him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really got wild on us. So, he started kicking his campfire on us and, cursing at us. And, well, some of us went to go tell the captain what happened, And, well, when we went to the captain's tent, he's there with the first sergeant.
Okay.
And we told him what happened, and, he says, well, he responded and said, well, something like unusual question he asked was like, how intelligent are you? And we kind of looked at each other like, what is he talking about, And we just, I guess one of us responded and said, as intelligent as sending a man to the moon and back.
Huh.
And then he looked at his first sergeant, And this first sergeant looked at him, and he started walking toward us, and he says, "The cap is yours."
Huh.
And he walked out with the first sergeant. And the first sergeant said, "Good man."
That's insane.
So, you know, that night was also pretty wild because of Sergeant Santini hitting the roof, well, you know, going wild on us. And the captain leaves, takes off in a Jeep, and the whole bivouac, or the campsite's ours. And we all got together that night and started talking about what was happening to us. And someone said something about, well, we must have caused a mutiny or something. I go, mutiny? You know,
Well, that's Navy talk.
Huh?
That's Navy talk.
I mean, these guys left. There was
Yeah.
no drill instructors. We were in charge of the whole thing. We were control. We were looking after ourselves.
Right.
That was it, you know. And then somebody come up with the idea that we caused a mutiny.
Uh-huh.
That was.
Well, you know, but it's sort of a reasonable sort of a leap to make. I mean, you can't figure out what's going on, and yeah, I mean,
It was a strange deal.
Yeah.
The whole thing was strange, and that's what we felt, and that's what I felt.
Uh-huh.
I asked the other guys too, what's this about? No drill instructors? Everybody's gone, and then we're the one that's here at this campsite.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, there's some questions to be asked. I mean, come on, you know, what's going on? And so we started talking about this all night, and, you know, well, we didn't we didn't stay up all night, but then, you know, just strange deal that night.
Yeah.
The next day, two of my friends came to me,
Uh-huh.
and they looked to me like they had something in their minds, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of puzzled look to their faces.
Sure.
So I asked them, what's going on, you know? And they kind of looked at each other and say, you know, we got problems. And I said, well, that sure does. There's no drill sergeant, no captain. I mean, you know, something's going on here. And they said, well, we found out that there was another company of men on the other side of the hill from here.
Oh.
And they brought live ammunition.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, live ammunition out here? I mean, the firing range from Fort Benning is about 10 miles away from where we're at, and they shouldn't have any live ammunition at an unauthorized area.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why would they want to bring the live ammunition over here for, you know? And everybody kind of talked about this again, and they said they were going to come and, you know, I couldn't believe this too, but they said something like, yeah, they're going to come and arrest us all.
Oh, wow.
That's what they wanted to do.
That'll harsh your buzz.
Well, yeah, I said, well, we got to do something here. We can't be sitting here and just waiting for them to come and arrest us all for what? We didn't do anything. We just came out here.
Yeah, see, then it would have been time for an old-fashioned mutiny.
Well, you know what? What we did that day,
Uh-huh.
we went to the captain's tent, and we found some maps.
Ooh.
With numbers on them, locations.
All right.
We figured that these guys on the other side of the hill weren't too far away from us, so we made plans
Uh-oh.
to go into their camp and invade it,
I see.
which we did.
Uh-huh. Well, were you armed?
12 o'clock. No, we weren't armed.
Oh, a friendly invasion.
Not until we went into their camp, and we, like, part of us went to where the food was.
Okay.
Most of them took the food, and the other part of us,
Yeah.
and the 300, we separated 150 and 150 on the side. We went to where the live ammunition was.
Yeah.
We took that.
Okay.
When we did that, we went to their captain's tent.
Yeah.
Walked in there. We noticed that there was about 3 drill sergeants with sidearms.
Uh-huh.
But we were already hooked up with M16 with magazines in our weapons.
Yeah.
And we went up to the captain. We saluted and told him, "Sir, we just took all your ammunition." And he kind of looked at all of us and said, "I underestimated all of you."
Ha!
So we saluted, took off, went back to our barracks, or back to our tent. Back to our camp.
Well, did you question him as to what in the hell was going on?
Well, again, I'm thinking, well, is this what was it, Lieutenant Colonel?
Uh-huh.
That was Lieutenant Colonel's tent that we just talked to.
Okay.
Not a captain, he was a Lieutenant Colonel.
Okay.
Bucky.
Uh-huh, okay.
Lieutenant Colonel Bucky.
Uh-huh.
And when we came back to our campsite, we were excited about the whole thing, and we just came back. And
Well, hold on. You don't walk into a guy's a tent, tell him to get your ammo, salute him, and not ask him what in the hell is going on. So what did you guys talk to him about?
Well, I didn't ask him anything. We just told him what happened to his side of the camp, and we just went back and said, forget about the whole discussion about what was going on. We just went back to our camp.
Nobody asked him of anything?
Maybe some other guys did. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they did.
Okay.
But, I was interested in getting back to our camp.
Okay.
And,
So what happened next?
Well, we celebrated a little bit,
Okay.
We did right. We didn't hurt nobody.
Right.
We just took care of live ammunition.
Right.
And
it was a military equivalent of a panty raid. So what did you guys do?
Something like that, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was for live ammunition.
Sure.
A little bit different. Now, by this time, I knew that we're in deep trouble.
Whoa.
Water.
Really?
Live ammunition?
Yeah. Well, because you guys aren't necessarily the most stable soldiers around either.
Well, the oldest guys in our...
You guys are walking around with flashlights and peeing into footlockers. I mean, you're not exactly the best people to have live ammo either.
Yeah, I get we never had real combat going out to Vietnam training time.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So what happened next?
We're not seasoned troops
So
yet.
you think you're in? Yeah. So what happened?
Yeah, we all had in our mind that we were invincible. Now that we went over there to raid a Lieutenant Colonel's camp and it took his live ammunition.
Yeah.
We feel like we're all Superman,
Okay, you're celebrating a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened next?
That following days,
Mm-hmm.
we sat around talking about what's going to happen next. Be
Sure.
ready for this and
Sure.
ready for that.
Right.
And sure enough, we got the word that they were going to send their very best against us.
The best of the best of the best.
Best of the best. Green
Well,
Berets.
oh, those guys. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
they showed up.
and what happened?
Well, we talked to their captain, and we asked him to give us a free passage back to our post.
Okay.
And his response to that was that I'm not in charge of this because what was it? Something like I'm not in charge of this, and I pretty much told me that okay, I guess the Lieutenant Colonel was in charge of this whole thing, and we had some problems with the Green Berets. And it's just like I'm not in charge to make that decision. So, yeah, we have problems with the Green Berets too. I know these guys were tough guys, but we had to stand still with in our belief that the live ammunition meant something to us, So we stood by with our belief, and some more other unusual things started happening while we were there too. There was one night where we're pretty much fighting off these guys to stop what they're doing because they wanted to take us prisoners and put us in jail and in the rigs, but we pretty much resisted that. Because this one night where we had to walk down this hillside, went to a dirt road, and one of us had a flare gun, and he shot the flare gun, and then the whole road just went bright light. It's just a quick flash of bright light, and next thing we know, we're standing on a dirt road, and we started walking back to where our tents are, and then we're all gone. We're trying to figure out where's our tent. It's all gone. We're just sitting there, a few minutes ago, and all our tents are gone. So we started walking around the area where our tents were, and I don't know, we just had a strange feeling, odd feeling that we're in the wrong place. We looked around and we noticed that when we tried to walk away from this area that we were standing, we couldn't. It's like an invisible barrier was standing in front of us.
Yeah, it's like Hackney. Well, so what happened? I mean, did you...
What happened is that we tried to get away from this area where we were standing, and when we did that, something sort of broke away, and we told ourselves, we told everybody, started walking back to the road. I mean, we needed to get away from there.
Yeah.
And when we did that, we got on the road again. Well, two guys took off to go see something. I don't know what it was, but then when I asked one of the guys, he said, where are those two guys going? So we told them to come back, get back over here. And when they did, they had this look in their faces like, they say, well, if you look straight ahead, what you see those guys are, in the dark, standing in a circle, are us.
Good heavens.
And I'm going, what? What do you, I'm looking at him going, what the hell is this guy's talking about? You're talking about us being over there and we're all standing over here? They're shaking their heads, yes, that's us. And I look real hard, too, and I see shadows, like in a circle formation. And they're saying, that's us. What do we do? I don't know, what do you call it? Time split? Time warp?
Well, there's some...
What do you call it?
Well, some sort of divination of the time-space continuum, yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Right.
Or I even saw the shadows, so that all the rest of the guys, they're all looking at the shadows over there standing around in a circle.
Right.
And they're saying, yeah, that's us.
So how did you get out of that jam?
Oh, we were standing on the road, when we were standing on this road again, the same place we came from the road. I told the guy with the flare gun to go ahead and fire it again, and when he did that, there was a large flash again, and this time I guess we came back or something, and when we started walking away from the road, we saw our tent.
Huh. You didn't even have a TARDIS.
We saw our tent, so we went up to the hillside from our tent, and we got to the hillside. The Green Beret captain came out of the woods and said, where the hell have you guys been?
Where in the hell, have you been, probably said.
He told us that you were there 1 minute ago and a second later you come back or something, you're gone.
Yeah. And he called you maggots, I'm sure.
I don't know what he was talking about.
Oh.
I don't know what he was talking about.
Huh. That's some high weirdness.
Real weird.
Real weird. Strange, odd weirdness. My goodness. Well, let's break it down like a fraction. So what happened, cut to like years later, and you meet up with Bud Hawkins, legendary UFO epic regressor. Did you ever run afoul of John Mack?
No, I tried, but
okay, well, who have you been regressed by?
Just Bud Hopkins and, I guess, just Bud.
Okay, Buddy Boy Hop Hat. So what happened? He sat you down, he gave you some nice tea, and he worked his voodoo magic on you.
Well, he came to my apartment and at that time, and then he told me to kind of lie down on my couch, which I did, and put me under hypnosis.
Yeah, I know. I've actually been fortunate enough to be in the same room with him and a abductee. And what came out? What new revolution? What new revelations came out of your regression?
Well, he told me, look at this light that was coming into the formation when I was standing there.
Okay.
And focus on it. So I did. And when I did that, I saw this bright light that was coming down, descending from the dirt road, and he told me I almost jumped out of the couch. I was frightened. And then he asked me quickly, what are you guys doing now? And I said, we're running. All of us were running away from where we were standing there, away from the formation. And some of them were still standing still. That's what I saw when he asked me when I was under.
Okay, well, did you get into the to this operating room with these ETs?
Oh, he didn't go that far. All I saw was that part when he asked me what was I doing.
Well, in other words, did it come out later that you were, in fact, in a craft, an alien craft?
Right, yeah, that all came back a little gradually.
And so, ultimately, now that you're looking back on it, fill in this missing pieces with this UFO theory that you have pulled out of your dormant memory.
Well, actually, when I took my time looking into this myself, they had no help. Well, actually, when I started looking into this, I was talking to another group of people about what was going on and what I was remembering, and it's like a group session. And I would go home and I would, kind of sit down quietly and just close my eyes to see what else I can remember. And gradually it started to work, and then I remember that I was in this craft, and I wasn't the only one. There was like a huge row of men lying on metal slabs. Row of men, and then we were like in a dome, huge dome about the size of a mall. All of us lying on this metal slab. It's like there was like floating.
And what gave you the idea that you were in a craft?
Well, it had this feeling of metallic feeling. It's like it wasn't wood. It had to be something like a metallic hallway.
Okay. So it was a craft type thing. And do you remember what they were doing or what happened during this odd observation / operation type of event?
They were examining, physical examination.
Probing?
Probing. Yeah.
Oh, probing.
Every one of us.
The kind of probing that should only take place in the private sanctuary of a man and his doctor kind of probing?
In a way it is, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In other words, how does one put this delicately? The kind of probing that, say, takes place either in a doctor's office with a rubber glove or on Fire Island during the summer.
Well, I don't know about the rubber gloves, but I know they were probing and asking questions at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And
in other words, how does one reach this with the utmost of delicacy? The kind of probing that involves the evacuation of a typical human male.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and that was used by some kind of a suction.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and that was the embarrassing part most of all.
Why was there spillage?
I'm sorry?
Was there spillage?
No.
Oh, was there unpleasant odor?
No.
Oh, just embarrassing to have your bum hooked up to a Hoover.
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, what was the embarrassing part?
As I look at it right now, it's just a simple evaluation, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a quick one, I think, because there was so much of us there.
They sort of a wham bam probing the butt. Thank you, man.
Next. One of those things like.
Good heavens! Now, what type of entities were doing this unseemly business?
There was these, I can say, workers, little guys. And the one who's in charge was this female. She was taller. And she was the one who was talking to me about, things
your feelings.
That she wanted to know.
She was asking about your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And were these humans or not?
Well, she sounded like human, but she had a sort of a metallic voice to her.
Okay.
Like, kind of far away, metallic, echo-like voice.
Yeah, it reminds me of my, far away. That kind of reminds me of my old girlfriend. Well, did you get a glimpse of any of the workers? Were they?
No, they kept saying, keep your eyes closed, and I followed, their directions. But there was one time when I opened my eyes again to see what I was looking at, and I saw this long finger pointing at my face, and she told me to go to sleep, so I did.
Well, you were nothing if not obedient. What other?
I think it's because of mind control too. I mean, she was taking control of everything.
Again, like my last girlfriend. Well, so you had this strange voice, and she was asking you questions about your feelings. Was there anything poignant that you remember from that exchange?
I think it was when what was it? There's one part when I was sitting up. I looked at a face, a being.
Okay.
And I knew it was a male's face. I know it was a male because the way
he hadn't shaved?
No, the way it was talking to me without using his mouth or anything. Was
kind of like Clint Eastwood, kind of gritty.
And it kept saying, look him in his eyes, and I didn't want to do that.
Oh.
Because it frightened me. I told him, hey, you scare me. I don't want to look at your face.
Well, what about it was so scary, I wonder, John?
Well, the way I look at it,
Yeah.
it's because it had a sort of an angry-looking eyes, like wide-eyed, dark black eyes.
Are you a God-fearing man?
Nah. I know what's happening with that.
Are you a Christian man? Yeah, a religious man, or?
Also Christian, also Catholic,
So you have the usual paralyzing guilt that comes with Catholicism, but you weren't overly religious. In other words, that doesn't sort of rule your paradigm.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't, but I know what's happening with it, and, I follow the rules, and I listen to it. And,
Okay. So you reckon that this guy, this face, had these large black eyes, typical of what some might call an alien gray.
That's a possibility, yeah. Well, I have to say yeah, because it had this nose, a flat nose, and mouth was a little bit open, but it has kind of like a pencil shape.
Oh,
And
dear.
mainly the thing that I was afraid was looking into his eyes. But he persisted in saying to me,
Look into my eyes.
that look into my eyes.
Well, you were afraid you were going to fall into them, or?
Well, I asked him, was it going to help me? And he said, yeah, I will help you.
Okay.
And so I did, and I remember that three things came into my mind. One was that I was standing in the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
Calm ocean. No land for like thousands of miles. You don't see any land at all.
Okay.
In the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
Next thing I remember seeing is that like I was standing in some kind of huge TV hallway or a room and watching a planet being destroyed. I don't know what planet it was, but the planet was...
Alderaan?
Huh? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. It just looked like a huge picture of a movie or a huge TV set or a viewpoint. I don't know.
Right.
But the whole planet was just being destroyed.
Good heavens.
And the next one was seeing a face of a humanoid. Pale, chalk-like paste face, white, with a white dressing.
Dressing? You mean not a salad dressing, like a
No,
clothing?
no, not a salad dressing, just like a dressing hat.
Oh, I see.
And had eyes like mercury. Yeah.
Oh, like liquid, sort of silvery.
Yeah. And the face, it has long nose. Again, the mouth is like pencil shaped.
Right.
And kind of a sharp chin.
Right.
Downward chin.
Good heavens.
So I was looking at something that's humanoid. White paste.
Right. And then what happened? And then what happened?
Well, next thing I remember is I woke up.
Yeah.
Formation.
Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Well, have you since then had any encounters with lights in the sky?
Well, this is going to sound pretty wild.
No.
My son and I was driving to downtown to see the baseball park here being built.
Okay.
The new San Diego baseball park.
Yes, know it well.
And he was taking a picture.
Okay.
And he took one picture of the Omni Hotel.
All right.
And when we got that developed, we have a white, white bright light traveling with other silvery type lights. I don't know what you call them, but something was following this brighter light, and it's way above the Omni Hotel. And I got a picture of it right here.
Very curious. Very curious.
Yeah, when I look at it with the magnifying glass, I can see little ones, silvery ones, following this larger object, this bright light.
Yeah.
Like it was in a group or something that was traveling.
Right, right. Do you have that digitized at all? Can you send me a copy?
Yeah, I could send you a copy. No problem. I just need the address and everything else, and we'll get together. I'm sure
I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the website. I'll put it up on robsimone.com. People who are listening to this can go into the submitted news section and take a look and see what we're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
And you know what? A lot of my listeners, they're really top people. They're on the ball. They're well connected. They often offer. They're really good about this. They'll hear and they'll offer help or insights, or if they help put pieces of the puzzle together. They've been doing it for the past 5 years. It's really not an audience as so much as like an incredible, proactive, supportive network of people who are just interested in hearing and learning and personal growth and entertainment. And so you never know where it leads.
No, well, right now, when you say entertainment, I got another person who's looking forward to doing a movie on this, and I've been talking to that person. Hopefully, it comes through.
Who's that?
And
is that someone
I
we
think
know?
it's going to be one of the 10 best movie in the century.
Is this person somebody we would know?
He's with Paranormal Awareness Group.
Matrix?
Hmm?
Paranormal Matrix?
No, I don't think it's Matrix. It's Paranormal Awareness Society or something like that.
Oh, his first name isn't Ken, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. We'll look forward to that. Well, listen, tell people if they want to get your book, and I highly recommend they do, where can they find it?
Well, you can go to the library, the bookstore, you can go to the internet, just ask for a book called Incident at Fort Benning.
Yeah.
And you'll find it, and you'll also see me on YouTube.
Yep.
There's a small segment of myself, and
yeah, we played it at the top of the show.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's up there. It's up there on YouTube.
A small part.
Uh-huh.
Channel 6 News took that in.
Yeah, no, it came out really well. I love the powerful, dramatic music. That always, chills the back of my neck kind of deal. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you very much.
And sharing your story. You are an incredible person. You have courage in coming forth. This is a true mystery. And I know how these things go. It's a struggle, but I'm sure. Well, didn't you say have you gotten any interesting documentation back that supports any of this recently?
Documentation.
Didn't you say you got a letter from Fort Benning a couple weeks ago, or a letter from somebody?
Army Intelligence, Fort Meade, Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a letter from them, and they gave me back in '94 a bunch of documents on UFOs.
Anything of interest?
Right now, in this letter.
Of anything.
You could write down RoswellFiles.com or Roswell1947.com.
No, I mean, something you can tell us about as we're closing out the show here.
Those two items?
Yeah, so in other words, anything good come out of that?
Well, there's something I looked into, and it surprised me a little bit because I talked to some people about this, and it has to do with Dwight Eisenhower.
Oh, right.
Yeah, on February 20th, 1954, Mr. Eisenhower went to a vacation at Palm Springs, was to go to Edwards Air Force Base to make, quote, contact with ETs, and what everybody heard is that he had to leave right away because he had a toothache or tooth appointment.
Cover story, right? Yeah.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
What I found out is that he had a heart attack.
Good heavens.
So that connection is, I believe, is right.
Yeah, I've heard about that story. He made that secret trip to Roswell.
No, to Edwards.
I'm sorry, to Edwards, where the bodies from Roswell were.
Well, no, he was supposed to meet other ETs.
Oh, right. He had a little sort of summit there. Yeah.
No, a little small discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
With ETs and,
Yeah.
Well,
swap recipes or something.
The word is that he had a toothache.
Yeah,
right away.
I heard that story, and I did. Well, listen, if you get any more documentation that comes up, any more smoking guns, give us a call, and we'll be happy to do some further updates. This is an incredible story, and I thank you, sir. You are a respectable and a very courageous gentleman.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I do appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, and we'll look forward to speaking with you in the future.
I hope so, too. I'm willing to talk to anybody who wants to look into this. And as for the Army is concerned, I was never there even as temporary assignment at Fort Benning.
Wow, they erased your record.
Well, I'm trying to find these guys where they're at. They
Sons of bitches.
They don't have no records of them.
We'll get them. We'll get on them. Thanks, John.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, people, this, again, is an extraordinary chapter in the book of the Rob Simone Talk Show. And I think you'll agree. We learned, we laughed, we cried, and we lived together. And that's what we do here every single week. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, put the kettle on, because I got another guest for you. He's waiting in the wings right now. He's LaSalle, Vice President of Marketing and Development. at eWorld, and he's going to explain this amazing company that just keeps astonishing me, and because, there's a lot going on with this, and he knows more about it than I do. And if you want to follow along as we're talking about this, go to my website, robsimone.com. Right on the homepage it says eWorld. Click on that. You can download the toolbar. It takes about 2.9 seconds. It's a tiny application. You can always get rid of it if you don't want it. And that makes this toolbar available. It doesn't keep it up there, but it makes it available if you want to open it up, and it's just the thing that runs across the top of the screen. You can make it smaller or bigger, or make it disappear altogether. And that has got news, sports, weather, the high-definition media player, and it's like that's your gateway to it. If you want to follow along, and you can see what we're talking about, because this is a new company. They're in development, and they're starting to jump out of the box. So I figured I'd just bring LaSalle on, and he might be able to explain this a little bit better. LaSalle, Vice President of Marketing and Development for eWorld Companies. Welcome to the Rob Simone Talk Show.
Hi, Rob. I'm glad to be on.
Well, you're a good friend, and you and I have shared many a time together here in Los Angeles at various functions, eWorld functions, and has been really an incredible growing experience. I was on your show, Let's Talk Success. We have a lot of similar friends. We've been networking, and we've been developing and just doing all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to bring you on because I want to talk about eWorld, because it's hard to explain in some sense, because it's a vast sort of opportunity, and people can engage it however they like. If they just want to watch all this stuff for free, they can. If they want to start their own business, or if they're a content provider, well, those are different channels that are open too. How do you explain eWorld to people?
Well, first of all, Rob, once again, it's a pleasure to share these ideas with you and your listeners. And eWorld breaks down basically in three major areas. Three of them you've already mentioned in one form or fashion, but let me just nail them down. That's someone who is developing content. Okay, that means that if you're a music producer, if you are a film producer, short film, feature film, or if you are a music person and has a music video, then of course our cutting-edge technology, our Boomerang media station, of course, which of course delivers our Play TV platform, offers a independent artist the opportunity to get their media out from a national and international standpoint of view, and it happens instantaneously. Also, for the entrepreneurs out there, we have our global affiliate network, meaning that individuals can come on and be a part of the digital revolution in entertainment, and just say, hey, this is a great idea, the Boomerang media station, which is a free download, by the way, and Play TV, and I can have an opportunity to then offer these benefits to, of course, my friends, my families, my associates, and my networks. And then thirdly, of course, we are a for-public company trading on pink sheets, and we have an enormous opportunity, for those who would like to be involved in our public stock, and that's the overall idea that's going on. The first time that has ever happened, of course, in the history of film and entertainment, and social business networking, as we call it, and then those who would just want to be entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, of course, it's an open door. The good part about it is that one of the great features is that eWorld is a non-exclusive agreement for all people who put up their movies or music videos or anything else, and you share 50% of the revenue, right?
That's correct, and that is also what's really, really exciting, because when you look at all of the other social business networks out there, whether it be MySpace or YouTube or some of the other popular venues, right? People can come together, they can expose their material all over the world on these venues, although they have little or no chance to actually have an opportunity to generate revenue as a result of that exposure. Now with eWorld, because as you mentioned, Rob, we have a 50-50 rev share happening. That means when people come on, there is a very, very light agreement, and then, of course, as a result of their content being on the Boomerang Media Station platform, Play TV, then, of course, as more of our advertisers are coming on, we offer, as I said, we actually pay out 60% of that, but then, of course, of that, obviously, it's a 50-50 situation between ourselves and, the content providers.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. And then, there's a great example. Somebody said, we were talking about MySpace, and somebody said, oh, you got a MySpace page? And yeah, and they said, how many friends do you have? And I said, oh, I got 1,000 friends. And he said, did you get your check? And what check? Or you got a YouTube, you get some new stuff on YouTube, and you got 50, 100,000 hits. And they say, well, did you get your check from them? And they said, no. But so eWorld is like, it's a higher quality, high-definition sound, high-definition player, and when you put it up there, not only do you get to showcase it in a better venue, but you're actually moving forward with taking your stuff and distributing it in a way that is professionally distributed.
Absolutely, and I think even from a visual standpoint of view, Rob, we would like to offer to the viewership here that the Boomerang Media Station, which takes on the appearance of a toolbar, okay, although it's not literally a toolbar because toolbars remain static, but full screen capacity, and of course it will plug you into all of the other great things that you'd like to do on the internet, and even more so as we're of course crossing over into new media, the digital age. The Boomerang Media Station is the absolute premier, should I say, liaison or conduit for then, of course, transforming your television set or your internet experience into your television experience and back and forth.
Oh yeah, people, what they're doing is now is they're taking their cables from their laptop or their desktop and they're putting it into their flat screen. And they're getting both the best worlds, because if I could do that right now, I would do it. And it's only going to be a short amount of time before everyone has got internet hooked up to their flat screen television. And the good part about that is, especially with eWorld, because you can watch your shows without commercials. The commercials now and the interruptions are just, it's to me, television, even cable, is just not watchable anymore. But if I could get the internet with a high-definition media player on my flat screen television and be able to knock around and do anything I want to do at a moment's notice, that to me is how it should be. And that's really where we're at, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah. And here in the United States of America, as most people would probably know, is that it's already been legislated by 2009. Everyone needs to, of course, convert to from analog to digital. And then for those who don't have a digital television or high-definition screen, so to speak, then they will be motivated or literally forced to have to go out and buy another box, a converter box, to then, of course, basically acclimate themselves to, of course, the new media, or the new form of, how we're going to be able to access our media.
Well, tell me about the fellow from England that came to the last eWorld launch and what's going on his side and on our side of the pond.
Well, that's also very, very exciting relative to, of course, our international expansion. The gentleman was actually from the UK. His name is James. And James is actually spearheading opening up the UK there with, of course, our licensing agreements, where then, of course, he and then a whole team of people will be responsible for, bringing eWorld to the region, which, of course, people from London can actually access us, right now, at eWorldmedia.com. But just from the business standpoint of view and all of the other great things that are happening, with eWorld. This particular gentleman is just spearheading the licensing for the region. And then, of course, we have a team of people that are in other regions opening up other countries.
Yeah, there's one in Spain, too. And
Absolutely.
yeah, they're sort of popping up all over the place.
Yeah, we're having a great exponential growth, and people are, their eyes are opening as they're seeing, this cutting-edge technology, how simple the application is, and how then, of course, we are moving towards basically, a point-and-click economy. So as we know that, there's, billions and billions of dollars that are now on land are now moving online. And, we've moved from the old brick and mortar to the click and order. And I think even based upon the economic conditions that are going on, even nationally and internationally, it's another signal to me that, the digital age is, right here in our laps, and we have to figure out how to best, acclimate ourselves to that particular situation.
Yeah, I don't really, other than sort of food and other stuff, I wouldn't want to buy anything at a store anymore, because anytime you walk into a store, you've got a very limited selection, and you don't get to choose the price. I can go online and choose a 10 times more broader selection, stuff that's currently up to date, stuff that hasn't made it to the shelves of some store, because they do ordering, you have to wait for some guy and for the trucks to arrive. I can go online right now and get the latest and greatest stuff from any country in the world at the best price possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, going into a store and buying stuff anymore just doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, I'm saying here, and it's all about, of course, the time and energy equates to dollars and cents, and as we're in the new economy, so to speak, the best way to then, of course, save time and energy is, of course, do business online, and naturally with the proper precautions. But then also another idea here, Rob, is that we've had a generation gap here in the U.S., and I'm also pretty sure that things are happening over in that region, because I speak with people over there, right?
Sure.
And there's a whole undercurrent of people, and I'm speaking about now like the Generation X's and the Generation Y's. I'm speaking about like from 19 or 18 all the way up to maybe like 32, 33.
Okay.
Right? And a lot of these people are predominantly getting their mainstream media from like places like YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And then there's an old cliche that, well, a lot of the boomers, they're like the cable people, meaning mom and dad still looks at cable, and then all the young people, they're getting their media in short sound bites and things of that nature from, all of the new media venues that are on the internet.
Yeah.
But also a lot of the major networks, and I see the rush, Rob, all the major networks are all clamoring to then fuse themselves with, a big distribution internet company.
Yeah, and eWorld's already partnered with some, and they got deals for others. I mean, this really is the way that they're going. That writer's strike last year was all about the profits that are going to be made on the internet. It's really going to take over everything, and that's why it's a great business. Other than that, people should be careful. If you've got music and content, you put it on YouTube. When you scroll down that long set of paragraphs and say, I agree to the terms and conditions, what you're agreeing to is to give YouTube the copyright to any material you upload on it. Not many people realize that. It's the same way with all of them. So if you've got something you want to hold on to and protect, sure, you can put it on there and you can sign your rights away, but eWorld is a sort of a classier venue. You keep your own copyrights, non-exclusive, and you actually share in the revenue that the big corporations make when you put stuff on YouTube. They're the ones that are cashing in on all the stuff on your back. So it's kind of like it's a very liberating venue as well for people who've got short things or long things or small content or large content too as well.
No, absolutely, Rob, and this is the emphasis or the bottom line of it is still our the idea of viral marketing and also social business networking, meaning that we are not attempting to then just go out and then amass this big database and then hold the copyrights of people's materials. We're letting them control their own material, their time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears, and then they can also profit in the same breath, and that to me seems like just a win-win situation.
Absolutely. And people who don't have content, who just want to make money, I've talked to a lot of people, housewives who just want a job at home. They become an affiliate. They put the toolbar out there. They set up their own network, and they profit from everybody who's involved in their network, who are just sort of surfing around and doing all the stuff they normally would do, and they're generating their own businesses from it, and just becoming a sort of partnering up with eWorld. So there's that too for people who just were looking for a home-based business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is part of even in one of my television shows, reality shows that I'm bringing to eWorld, which I call much like the West Wing, the West Hollywood Wing. I'm only suggesting to people that everybody needs to think about at least being a part-time entrepreneur.
These days,
and then also, based upon the platform that eWorld has brought forth, it's actually now designed for any platform. So that means that, if you are a dress designer, you are a painter,
okay,
meaning, art or whatever have you.
Candlestick maker?
Even if you have an ordinary business.
Okay.
The way we've set up, the upload scenario is that anyone can put up like a static page.
Yeah.
Almost like an advertisement for their business.
Okay.
Play music in the background or whatever have you.
Sure.
And they can just advertise their business. Meaning that when someone clicks on Play TV, because it defaults, right?
Yeah.
Their URL, as they are a part of eWorld as an affiliate.
Okay.
Then that's all the people see. First and foremost is their advertising.
That's true. I never thought about that, but yeah, that's true. If whatever you have in your network, you can choose what's set up as the default page.
That's correct. Absolutely.
And it could be any type of business. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
As we're talking about, the music video producers or the film producers, so on and so forth, right? I mean, this really, crosses all lines here in terms of, the possibility for the independent entrepreneur to then have, either local exposure, national exposure, or international exposure.
Yeah, it's really, I really think it's cool. And as I said, there's stuff that I'm still finding out about it. You guys are working really hard. You're coming up with stuff and strategies and partnerships. It's just every day it's something new. LaSalle, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us a little bit about eWorld today.
Well, Rob, it was my pleasure, and I just look forward to reconnecting with you, and onward and forward, people.
Yeah, I did not know about all this stuff. That's what I mean. Marketing, advertising, it's definitely, if you don't have a web presence, I mean, you're not actually in business these days. First thing anybody asks is, what's your website? That's how you're judged. And there's just billions of hits flying around out there, and yeah, it's a whole empire. If you're interested in joining up, just go to joineworld.com. That's joineworld.com, and that has all of the info. Kind of cool. They have cool stuff popping up all the time, so we'll see what happens next with them. In the meantime, I just want to remind you that, again, you're listening to the Rob Simone Talk Show. It is on exclusively on 104.4 FM here in the great city of London, and on London's best radio station, Resonance FM. And I want to quickly, in the time that we have left, take a look at what is in the news, because it never ceases to amaze me, the weird, the wild, the strange, and the fantastic that passes for everyday reality on this here planet. Like this one. I'm on the website here, robsimone.com, and in the links section, dog found after 5 years on the lam. A collie that disappeared from a suburban Chicago owners more than 5 years ago has been located 85 miles away in the town of Rockford. He was reunited with his family thanks to a microchip that allowed authorities to identify his owners. Amazing. It's true, they're starting to put microchips in babies now. You think that's a good idea? Not sure. Not sure. Here's one. Toaster oven used to compost dog poop. Okay. Here's a good one. Helicopter door drops from the sky. A door from a Minnesota National Guard helicopter is missing, and the Guard wants it back. 5 minutes after takeoff, 1,500 feet, the Chinook's helicopter, 150-pound emergency door opened and dropped. Where the door landed is a mystery, but the National Guard officials say that they think the door exited the aircraft east of Highway US 61, west of the interstate. We're very concerned about the community, and we'd like to have the community find this, said the National Guard spokesperson. No reports of damage or injuries have been filed as a result of this door dropping from the sky. They're investigating why it fell off. The door had an upper or lower locking system, and that opened manually instead of the hinges. To get the door back is crucial to the investigation, because they don't want these things, again, falling off the helicopters from this point onwards. Or so I would assume. Here's an interesting one that you don't see very often. Twins. A set of Seattle twins will be in separate schools when they start kindergarten in the fall. Their mother says that they were assigned to different ones. They were placed into, even though she's listed as, it's recommended that the girls, attend the same school. It's like a glitch in the program. They were supposed to go to the same one, but they were split up. And it's now become like sort of a, kind of a national kind of story that for some reason these two twins who live in the same house were assigned to different schools. That is the magic of public education, so it would seem. Well, there's just too much to read here, but let's see, there's maybe one more here. Police say beer theft left dripping trail. Police in West Virginia town say a man who broke into a car and stole 11 cold cans of beer left an easy trail of water droplets. Officer in South Charleston who responded to a complaint of a car break-in last week noticed the water droplets, and they have filed a complaint in Kawana County charging Carl Stewart, 49, with the destruction of property and petite larceny. The beer was sitting in a cooler in the car when Stewart allegedly broke into the window. The police followed the trail to a house, not on Stewart residence, but on the same street. Well, it's a lesson for the kids out there. If you're going to nick a couple pints, be mindful that you're not spilling on the way. I think Shakespeare wrote that. Well, we're just coming up to the end of the program. I have to thank everyone for tuning into this blockbuster show. I say we had a really good run there with John and the story about the UFO and the Army. That was a lot. If you missed it, it's worth hearing. There was a lot of. I managed to slip in a lot of funny lines in that one, I have to say. I was literally trying not to laugh in the microphone during that. Not at him or his story, but just I just say things sometimes that pop out of my mouth, and I can't help myself. I don't know what it is. It's this condition. It's the Rob Simone condition. Anyway, if you want more information about anything we talked about today, if you want to get online and check out all these news stories, if you want information on eWorld, whatever you want, it's all up the website. It's all got my contact information up there as well. www.robsimone.com. I thank all of you for tuning in to this very special program. Spread the word, won't you? Tell a friend, won't you? Let people know what we're doing. They used to replay this here radio talk show on Friday mornings, and I don't think that they're doing that anymore. I'm not sure. But if you want to get involved, contact the radio station, ask them if you'd like to hear this at a different time. They will do it. If people, if people build it, I will come. I don't know if it still airs. It's too early for me to hear. I'm in Los Angeles. So it's a little too early for me to sort of monitor, if you will. So check that out. If you're interested in getting in touch with the radio station, they're linked right through the homepage at robsimone.com. Just click on Listen Now, and that'll give you all the info to get in touch with Resonance FM directly, and let them know. Yeah, I think I'm not on Friday mornings anymore. It's a bit of a pity. But tish tish, we'll do the best we can, won't we? In the meantime, I want to thank all of you again for listening. Tune in next week where I'm going to bring you more of the most interesting people on the planet. That is not a pledge, it's a guarantee. If you don't believe me, go to the website and see who we've had on in the past. It reads like a who's who in the what the hell directory. I mean, really, seriously though, we've covered health, alternative thinking, and science, and consciousness, and quantum physics, lost civilizations, the Mayan calendar, government cover-ups. I mean, what else do you want, people? I'm trying to give you everything. If you've got ideas about shows that you'd like to hear, if you've got tips on the unusual things that I want to, that we should know about, let me know. I actually just signed up a that will be a contributor. He says, Rob, I'm always at these conventions, and I see people or whatever that would be great for your show. What do? I said, look, man, you can be like a roving reporter. Get a little digital recorder that spits out MP3s, okay? Or if you want to do it from home, just download a free software called Audacity. It's 100% free. It's great. You can record simply, edit if you want simply, and you can export whatever you're recording as an MP3. So if you've got little tidbits, little segments that if you feel the entrepreneurial spirit of things that fit into the fabric of the show, go ahead. I'll put it on, if I like it. Be a roving, correspondent, and I will take care of you as best I can. I'll highlight you, feature you, and then before you know it, you'll have your own series. You'll have your own content that you can put on eWorld and get rich. I mean, I have already deputized one person, and he's trying to get his act together. Some people, this is easy stuff. This recording, this MP3, it's simple. And then what you do is when you have an MP3, right? Generally, if it's 5 or 8 megs, you can send that as an attachment on an email. If it's a little bit longer, you just a free website you go to that